he was the one who's caused the upset of the tournament. And no matter what happens on Sunday, that is still going to be the biggest upset here. And, you know, Dramis, I even was watching it on the stands behind both Wenger and Dramis. And, of course, Dramis popping off, and as he should do, of course, and just continuing to ride this momentum. And it looks like he would. But, you know, this is a completely different style, completely different kettle of fish here. And we'll have to see exactly how Dramis is going to deal with it. He's not fully known for his adaptation, but the way Dramis plays, he's going to be a little bit familiar because, you know, way back in the day, Dramis used to play quite defensive himself and quite reactionary, so he knows what kind of shenanigans base may be up to. But speaking of the devil, we're going to be starting off on base's POV here with the Galena to see exactly what he's going to be getting up to. The items are already a little bit segregated with the heavy coming up next and looking to try and pick up the rockets because he hasn't got an LG or the rockets as of yet.
No, he doesn't indeed, and as you say, hasn't got any weapons to play with. Just going to camp out here, and Dramis is just respecting that. Not much he wants to do. As I was saying, he orbs on in. He knows pretty much when the timing is. So that's a nice play to bully base away. Base retreats to the Mega. Dramis recognizes he's got the position. Will actually try and take both, and does so successfully.
Certainly does. Dramis looking very good here, but as I say that though, keeps him almost kept away from the Mega. The rocket came out and trying to hit that last rail, which could have easily secured him the first frag, but instead, I like this though from base. It's not something you normally see. It's actually trying to recover whilst trying to push in towards him. Love that from base. Managed to secure that first frag.
Yeah, so I did like the proactiveness again from Dramis to try and take away both major items, but base being base punishes that. He works his way back across towards Omega, and they do now split. Decent enough split between the timings as well. Enough to play around anyway.
In the power of the ancients.
Rocket jump coming out here. Base trying to get that optimistic rail. It almost hit it, to be fair. And now looking to try and push it on forward. Still has now top control, just directly above Dramis, just dives in to get a bit of LG damage. Dramis even assumed he was going to go for the TP at the perfect time. Actually orbs all the way up to see if he can get a bit more in, but beautiful rail again from base just to keep himself in this little scuffle. 2 minutes have passed though, and base still trying to back away, still trying to pick up a light if he can, but Dramis just constant pressure at no end.
Indeed, enjoying, as you said, the pressure from Dramis, using the passive from the Ranger to rocket jump around, keeping base's face. The weakness of Galena obviously is the lack of mobility in this respect. So Dramis trying to force the initiative. It's one of those things, it's high risk, high reward, or medium risk, high reward, let's say, if you do it right.
Base now does pick up the light. Heavy's up in the next 15 seconds.
There we go again, he's going up aggressive. Distraction orb, he's caught him with the rail as well. Base needs to skedaddle. And Dramis will pick up at least one major item, but he's actually even trying to cut base off again.
What a rocket.
Loving this from Dramis.
Yeah, I am as well. And his base is actually close to his overstack. Will be initiating that straight away. Some decent shots there. A little bit of damage. Dramis having to back away. Still hasn't got any rockets yet. Does need to collect them when he gets the opportunity to, and realises that it's probably in the rail room. So now was the perfect time. Dramis is still trying to get that first rail off. Was close though, very close.
Wonder how long it is until base adjusts slightly to the way in which Dramis is playing. We're seeing this again and again and again. Distraction orbs, the rocket jumps. The base just maintaining his position at this point. He's also got a very good stack, all things considered as well. So this is just base things, you know, grinding away. Dramis can't get up. He's got the totem portion. Checks in the TP as he goes on through, takes one of the totems out with his body, second one with the rocket, but he has taken a decent amount of damage, and base should be able to now take away this heavy armor. Dramis working his way down, trying to pressure base away. He's getting low on ammo. Base recognizing that, going on through, steals it away, but he's a bit of damage in the exit. They both get quite low, and base hits, connects with that rail.
And he gets the spawn rail as well. Putting Dramis in a pretty bad spot. 4 minutes have passed, another tone him up. And go straight through. Oh, these predictions, the reads, mainly the reads actually from bases, definitely getting him where he is at the moment and able to stabilise this lead at this stage. Base fight. Standing his ground at the moment as he's picking up that mega. Still got a nice, decent stack. 2 totems up. Not too far off from that overstack, of course. Dramis is going to realise with these hourglasses also. Oh, actually orbs up straight afterwards. Does pick up the heavy in the meantime. And don't go on, Dramis did a lot of damage, but the problem is still the whole point being Base picking up these items.
Yeah, Base is at the moment just playing the safer game. Dramis trying to set the pace and take the initiative. That's actually slowed on down quite a lot as Base has solidified his positioning on top. And it's just simple and effective. He's allowing Dramis actually to make some of these moves he wants him to. See Base not wanting to commit, he's just here to do the damage. Stretch him off once again, but this time Base doesn't fall for it. And the strategy from Dramis appears to be unraveling.
And Base is he's just not falling for any kind of bait, any kind of trap, which is Dramis is leaving at the moment. And Dramis has done everything he can so far. It's been a bit of a shame here. Dramis just trying to pull a few strings to see if he can distract Base as much as possible, but you saw every time he tries to approach the heavy, Base is just not phased at all in the slightest, just playing super conservative, trying to get all the damage done he can, and as soon as he finds that opening, then he'll go for the item as he sees fit. Like I said, he plays based on percentages. When it's quite high in his favour and when it's counter right, he'll definitely just go straight on in, but good orb, some decent rockets here. The LG's coming up from both players, but again, it's going to be Base coming out trumps.
Yeah, the offset from Base, Dramis has no idea when the timing is. You can see him trying to do something to get back into this game, but without that knowledge, it's a risk, and it's a risk that doesn't pay off as he's rocked once again. Huge rocket to the face. Base won't finish that off. He'll leave him reeling as he goes to take map control. Still hasn't taken this mega, just using it to fall back on if he needs to, and completely disorientate his opponent. So at the moment, Dramis only knows when the heavy is, and that has to be the play he makes. Now he's regrouping.
He has done directly beneath him. This is not the spot Dramis wants to be in. Does get away, misses the last rail, but the main thing is he gets away with his life. Problem is though, 3 minutes left, another heavy in favour of Base. Pushing all the way around, the rockets come out, just another one. Onto his Tomahawk now, he does get the rail. He needed the rail anyway, he didn't have any ammo left, and that was actually quite convenient here for Base. Dramis now trying to hit him, but yeah, again, just really struggling.
He is struggling, there's no way in. First few minutes were good, Dramis trying to set the pace, but a lot of the risks he took at the time didn't pay off massively, or not as much as they could have done. A little bit unlucky, a little bit deep, a little bit from the positioning of Base, and then there was the adjustment of Base, the refinement of the way he was playing. He's just reading Dramis time in, time out.
Kind of felt like he read him like within the first couple of minutes. Just the way he's been playing at the moment, his positioning, the advantageous angles, he's just taking time and time again, not taking any baits or any traps here from Dramis. Fair enough to him, he has tried, but it's just not been enough. And we know how relentless Base can be on this map. It's very, very difficult. I wouldn't suggest anyone to try and compete against Base on this map, especially the way he's aiming and playing at the moment. Finally, it took a fair amount of time, but also at the same time, though, Dramis did have the edge in some areas, did have some good uses of the orb, but again, like you said, Base already reading up on that.
Absolutely, and there's another one of the situations where Dramis is making the aggressive play, and just, it pays off, but it was messy. A lot of these could have been cleaner if he had found a bit more luck, essentially, and that might have turned the tail of this game on its head a little bit. Nevertheless, it didn't. And what we said in the intro is that Base will find a way to slow it down, play his game, and control the map, and that's exactly what happened. He had a stranglehold of the two major items, a stranglehold of positioning, and Dramis was clutching at straws for large portions of this game.
Certainly did. It was nice to see Dramis bring a bit of flair onto the server early on, but it's faded out massively over the last 6-7 minutes. This Base now just I like this as well from base. Like, obviously, he doesn't need to worry about it too much. He's already up 10-2, but he wants to keep Dramis feeling that there's nothing he can do. He wants to keep this going to the end of the game. If he gives him a little bit of room just to get a couple of frags in the last minute, then Dramis fulfill it just a tiny bit better. But oh my god, it's just absolutely. He's going to trying to hit for the spawn, but he just delayed the spawn a little bit. But that's the thing. If he's still continuing with this pressure, even in the last few seconds, it's going to make Dramis feel extremely uncomfortable going into the second map.
Definitely. And when base is hitting shots as well as he is, he becomes even scarier than he was otherwise. So, good games come out. It was a little bit brutal from a Dramis point of view. Started fast and furious, but the pace quickly was sapped away from the game as base stamped his authority. You can see from the item pickups, it was not as huge potentially as it would have felt. I can't see, obviously, the mega health from Dramis, but that's going to be even lower than the heavies because he stole quite a few of those away. So it was well played by base to take map 1, but we're moving into a completely different realm. We're moving on to Molten Falls with the Slash coming out from base, where he can't play as authoritarian as he did on this particular map because he's going up against the Scale Bearer.
Certainly is. Just going back to the picks and bans now, and even with the damage, I think it was like 1529 or 39, something like that. Just huge influence across the board. And yeah, Molten Falls, we do have to talk about the Slash. I think, it doesn't matter what champion base plays, you do not want to give him a lead on this map. But with the Slash now, if he gets the lead, of course he's going to be in a world of trouble. But in the end, he's going to be keeping his distance anyway, especially against the Scale. He needs to really choose his moments wisely. Not like he does it anyway. He does it no matter what kind of matchup he's in. We'll have to see what he can do. And I like that, though, from Dramis. He did ban the Anarchy, which is base. Sometimes does go for it. It's probably something he does prefer on this map on the odd occasion. But instead, the Slash may make it a tad worse here. We'll have to see. And if we do go to map 3, it will be the Athena versus the Doom. Like I said, we've seen it a couple of times before already on the stream. We've seen the outcomes. We've seen exactly how good the Athena can be in its good times and her bad times. But base, yeah, looking very, very comfortable and seems to be ready just to crack on with this second map.
Yeah, he's in his element. Nice and cool.
Even having a bit of a snooze here, Dan.
Quick pre-game nap, that's the
Pre-game snooze, isn't it?
That would be a tactic, wouldn't it?
It would be. It would be. Definitely throw me off. But we'll have to see now as Dramis doing the same thing.
Yeah, they are.
Maybe that's what we're missing here.
Yeah. I have to believe you.
I don't know where I'm going at this point, but all I know is that we're going to go into the second map now to see base's Slash and how he does against Dramis's Scale Bearer. Of course, for the heavy versus light champion matchup, it's going to be quite difficult for base, especially with the starting stack. But never underestimate the speed and mobility of the Slash and the way base is aiming, his accuracy. Remember, hit 56% rail early on, 17 out of 30 if I can remember from the top of my head. And already going straight in, hits the rail, is going to go for the bull rush, stops it and just lets him get away, but that's perfectly understandable.
Yeah, is indeed. Didn't want to run into base, just pure damage, can get away. The trail was popped, meaning there's no way he was catching his opponent. Pressuring here, he's caught base up jump pad, he's left the heavy unguarded, and base is going to try and steal it away. He can, just because of how quick he is. No, Dramis. The trap was there, it didn't succeed. It will spell his doom as base is hunting him from above. And this just seems the story of the set so far. Dramis trying to take the initiative to base. And just a little bit unlucky, if anything. And if it doesn't work, the high risk, high reward plays, well, they go against you.
They certainly do. That's a great example of that. Also, the LG coming up from base. This is really sort of great way to pick that heavy up. Dramis still standing his ground, but the problem is, even with the bull rush, he's still going to catch you with the movement here from base. And I'm liking his Slash at the moment. And I think from the accuracy and the aim skill we saw from base earlier on, definitely complements that.
Yeah, the Slash is amazing if you can put the pressure on to the Scale Bearer, and that's what base is doing. He's getting in his base, getting in his mid-range. I think Dramis is making it maybe a tad easy for him at this point, but if you can do that, then you have the speed to capitalise on it.
Certainly does, as earlier on around Mega, base didn't want to risk Dramis going 3 for 3 with those rails, even with the hitbox of Slash. Base is not going to risk that at all.
Here's when the timing is. He's in the vicinity and Dramis has to say goodbye. Only one light armor to live off at the moment. Base with the stranglehold on the map. Minute 2.
Suffocated is definitely the right word at the moment. Does steal the heavy, but the rail looking for one more, and yeah, of course with the hitbox at the scale, he's gonna take that absolutely. Is Dramis now just hiding around the bottom, just trying to see exactly what he can figure out, or just trying to find a way or an idea, just an in if he can, and just that light bulb doesn't seem to be switched on as of yet. Picks up the Mega though, not without taking that, taking the rail in the meantime. 240 is passed though, and already down 3-0 against the Slash. It's going to be a difficult task.
Yeah, this is already a victory territory for Base. 3 frags. Dramis hunting around and Base in the vicinity again. He knows both timings, got position. Dramis pops it out, but just going to RJ over him, bounce him up in the air and steal the Mega. Hasn't been taken actually. Base moving away a second too early. Yeah, you can see him actually not happy with that. It was a big mistake from Base, thinking it was coming up. Could that be the turning point?
Certainly could be, as Base has now picked up the heavy. Dramis sadly didn't get there in time. It's the first, this is the second. This is definitely going to be Dramis' frag. He's slowly creeping up here. So now he's got to try and find on the whereabouts. But I like this play from Base. He's not being that defensive with the Slash. He's just playing it right, making the right decisions at the right time. And the only time he didn't is, of course, just misplaying that Mega earlier on, which, of course, led to his demise. It's not sufficient on across. His Dramis still looking for a little bit more, but Base, rightly so, has pulled back. Picking up those hourglasses also to lead towards that bull rush later on.
Dramis is making it too easy for Base to rotate the items. There's no right for Base to swoop in and pick up both these major items completely uncontested. It's dangerous territory for him. Yeah, and he's just got Dramis in a position that he wants him, and really hard for Dramis, but he's also making it hard for himself. Base is giving him an in outside of the items. Nice timing by Dramis, but no, it's actually a bit too soon. He has to backtrack to pick it back up and takes even more damage.
Yeah, literally 1 second cost him a fair chunk of HP. Tanks the first rail. And Base doesn't decide just to go fully aggressive around the same path and cast those defensive rockets. Can do a little bit too much damage. Heavy come out in the next 5 seconds. Dramis is ready. Base is looking to pop in as well to say hello and try and contend with that, and he has contended it perfectly. Picks up the heavy straight afterwards and delaying the respawn as well, as Base looking to try and see if he can find him on spawn, but hasn't as of yet. But he's in prime position here to try and pick up this Mega.
And Dramis is questioning what he can do. Base is just rotating item to item and taking these mid-range LG fights, which is the one thing the Scale Bearer doesn't want, and that's what Base is forcing. And there's another frag for Base, 5-1. Scale Bearer will pick up the heavy this time for free. But what cost? He hasn't got any weapons to work with. Base is now in position just to go and defend them.
Base just listen up for the audio cues here. Just trying to push on forward. Mega's up in the next 7 seconds. Just waiting to see where Dramis is going to position himself. And it looks like he's just going to leave it. But do you know what? Why not at this stage? He doesn't exactly need the Mega. He'll get more value from the heavy at this rate. So an additional 50, can get the additional 75 from the heavy anyway, considering the stack he already had. And now looking just to re-rotate, and yeah, this is the Base-esque kind of style we expect.
And more importantly, during that exchange, what Base was able to do to make sure the major items. Wow, 100% LG!
That is going to hurt. That, well, it already did, didn't it? Just increases lead once again. I don't know about this.
I was just about to say, the more important thing is he's kept the major items on the same time. You can see him listening out there. He just wants to trade. He's on the defense. He's got the lead. He always wants a major item to fall back on. The only way Dramis is really going to win this game is to have a lockdown on the map. And the way Base is playing, he's just not letting that happen. He's tracking Dramis' movement, making sure he goes to the opposite major item, and then keeping the items on par. There you go, there's Dramis. I'll see you later. If you want to push me through this choke point, be my guest. Otherwise, I'm just going to retreat and pick up the opposite major item to you.
And I think we've watched base a lot on Molten Falls. We kind of, even ourselves as casters, we know exactly where he positions himself on different parts of the map, and there's always set points. This one especially when he's playing any other champion, but with the Slash he's been a lot more unorthodox across the board. He's been making sure to constantly change his position at all times, and you know that's what's making it even more difficult here for Dramis and for anyone else really coming up against him here. He's not going to go for the TP, of course, due to the trail, and now Dramis has gone all the way up. He's trying to bait him out as he's going for the heavy, but yeah, he's not going to fall for that.
No, just getting the audio cues once again. This time he's delayed it a bit more than he would like to. Dramis going in, he knows, he heard it. He has to make this play count, and it's not going to. And he thought, I think unfortunately for Dramis, he will be out of this event.
He certainly will be, which is a bit of a shame considering the upset he created earlier on. With Wenger placing top 12, but in the end, no, looks like Dramis will be having top 8. The ball rush comes out though, still got to find 5 in 2 minutes, but yeah, at this point, no, Base can just run rings around him.
And it's a shame. You know, we know Dramis for these spectacular flashy plays, the fast gameplay, the fun stuff to watch, and he's come up against someone that just knows how to put a handle on that. He knows how to restrain that type of play and use it against you. That's the frustrating thing when you play against Base. He knows how to use the way you want to play against you. You see Dramis forcing his way through, but it's going to mount to very little. It might be too little too late at this point. Got to pray for a comeback. There's still a minute and a half left, but it's going to be a ring around the road. He's basically playing on the Slash.
Certainly is. There we go. That's his get out of jail free card as he went for the TP. He's actually going to take the fight anyway, and the reason he's doing that is just so that if he does take the fight and Dramis does win, then he's not really going to have enough kind of stack in order to continue on. And it's a bit of a shame here, like you rightly said. A minute left, still needs to find 4.
Oh, and just hit as he wants to go on the aggressive. You can't do anything but smile, and it's just a strong, traditional performance from Base. And I think the nod of acceptance there from Dramis as he's come up against someone that knows how to play against him. It'll be a big learning experience, I'm sure.
It certainly will be. It's now Dramis just thinking about exactly what happened. Of course, it is the best of 3, not a best of 5, so this will be the final map. And the final map for the tournament here for Dramis here is Base is going to be able to secure that 2-0 victory and be able to continue on in this losers bracket.
Yes, we will. Base is looking good. He was obviously frustrated to lose earlier in the day, but he's recouped, he's come back, he's taken out Dramis, who knocked out Wenger, so that was no slouch of a performance from Base to knock out old Dramis, and it was, as we said, a cultured performance from Base, but one you would expect.
Absolutely, and Dramis has had a long road here. He lost to CNZ right at the very beginning of this defense there, just supporting Dramis there on the long road. He started back in losers round 1s, going through different types of opponents, very strong ones, of course, as we rightly mentioned earlier on. And so that's going to be the end of the road for him. But for Base, he's going to continue on. Still that style of play from Base is ever going to trickle a little bit beyond some of the players' minds going forward. But, he's going to be against some opponents who can definitely adapt really well.
Yeah, but speaking of adapting, Base picked a Slash. I mean, we're not used to him.
No? That threw me off.
Yeah, I think it threw everyone off. But it worked like a treat. And so you have to throw it out to him. He's definitely built on his game. In the earlier days, he would definitely pick the same pool of champions, whereas now there's a lot more variety in there. And we've seen against other players, he can be incredibly aggressive when he wants to be. So that rounded package from Base is always a player nobody likes to meet in the lower bracket. And we've seen it here in Dramis that a lot of the time he just couldn't break that defense. Yeah,
I think Base has a great aim anyway, but we've seen a lot more of it. It's like I said, it complemented with the Slash perfectly, because that's exactly something you need. One of the elements you certainly need in order to push on forward and really suffocate your opponent, and he did that. And the fact that changing to a champion such as the Slash, I mentioned it earlier, is the fact that he has the same route, same positions he normally uses to, recollect and see what he wants to do in terms of his ideas and his plan of action. But for Slash, though, he never went to any of the areas on the map which he would normally do. Just kept on his toes, also kept his distance as well because of the scale, and that's exactly what he needed to do, and he did it perfectly.
He did indeed. I'm not entirely sure who he's going to be meeting in the next round. I'm guessing it's the winner of C&Z versus My mind is now just gone blank.
Mine's gone numb as well. I don't know why you're asking me.
Winner of a match.
Yeah, someone in the losers bracket, or even something. Well, actually, pretty much we only got the winners finals there, so we'll definitely find out later on. We'll definitely bring up the losers bracket later on as well and find out, because it's going to be interesting. It's just the top dogs almost left. We've still got one more losers bracket match left to come, and of course that will be also a best of 3.
It will indeed. I mean, it's been a day. We've lost some real big names, and it's an Avec Rafa final, something we haven't seen for a while. We probably are going to see one of these quote-unquote underdogs who haven't made it this far in the event going through, because Razy's down the lower bracket as well. So if anyone takes out Razy, it's almost someone brand new in the latter stages.
Yeah, even Avec being in the winners finals, like, that's a shock to the system as it is. It's like, the pedigree of skill between both Rafa and Rafa and of course Avec is something we've not seen in a very, very long time. I can't even date back into what year or even what decade at this point, considering. But I also think Max has also performed very well. CNZ versus Zeneku.
Yeah, we've got CNZ versus
I know that was a bit random, but
we've got CNZ versus Zeneku. We've got Razy and Max down there. Oh my God, it's going to be a bloodbath tomorrow. But before we even get that far, what I'm hearing is we actually probably have a QPL first for you. We're not even in the QPL, so we have a Quake first for you. I'm going to throw over to Ryan, where we are with Base.
This is the beauty of this kind of setting. I'm joined by Base and Sergey, who will be translating for us today. I'm going to keep it quite simple, I think, going into the later stage of this tournament. I want to ask Base, how is he feeling being back in a studio setting?
Он говорит довольно просто, простыми словами говорит, хотел бы спросить, как ты вообще себя ощущаешь здесь на турнаменте сейчас?
В плане чего?
In what terms? So coming back like for this day only, or?
Yeah, I mean, just playing again, being in tournament, winning.
Вообще то, что иметь лан и снова играть и выигрывать.
Спустя 2 года, последний лан был в Польше в 2020 году.
Since the 2 years, the last LAN been in Poland, so 2 years ago.
И это чувство очень притупилось. И когда сидишь, играешь на сцене, хотя здесь нету зрителей, но тем не менее, да, ощущается нервы.
Basically, when you're on the scene playing, you obviously a bit nervous. So all of those feelings, they're like, how to say it properly, they're in a different shape, I would say. It's not easy.
I'd really like to ask as well what your preparation has been like.
Да, я хотел бы, конечно же, поинтересоваться, какая твоя была подготовка к этому турниру?
Я играл как раз Скалбирера дома. На чемпионов выбирал Скалбирера. И Слэш играл, тренил их.
So he's been picking the champions, the Callbearer and the Slash, and he's been training on them.
Да, и для меня игра снова стала как бы фреш, новый.
Yeah, and the game become as a fresh game, like a new game for him.
So, Base has a very prominent online following, a real fan favorite. Is there anything he would like to say to the people at home?
Как ты знаешь, у тебя большая комьюнити, много людей, которые поддерживают, и ты хотел бы что-то им сказать, передать?
Мы здесь недавно ехали с Серегой.
Yes, if you want, if it's safe.
So we've been coming together with myself as well.
И вместе с нами был Носфа, Макстер и Авик.
And with us, apart from ourselves, there's been Nosfa, Maxter and Avik. We've been going together by car.
И чтобы вы понимали, какое у меня было настроение, и сейчас какое у меня настроение на этом турнире в Лондоне.
And the mood that I've got right now in London, so you can understand.
Это музыкальное, вот такое. Позови меня с собой, я приду сквозь злые ночи, я отправлюсь за тобой. You can translate, Sergey.
So, and the mood right now that I've got is can be expressed by this song, very popular song by Alla Pugacheva, which is singing, "Call with me, please. I'll go with you through the evil nights, something like that, and I'll go with you, whatever you want, something like that." So, That was kind of the translation, the close by translation that I could get.
Well, I tell you what, we had a Pro League first, a studio first. I tell you, we'll just have both microphones now for this. We're going to cut to a break, and when we come back, the last series of the day, and I promise it is this time. We'll see you soon.